You might be thinking about flying around doing some indoor FPV action this winter. Well, I challenge you. You've never seen a Whoop perform quite like this one. I mean, check out this footage, and even better, we've got some free ones to give away to you guys. So stay tuned because you are about to be very, very impressed. Rightio, strap yourself in. This is the second time I've recorded this video because the first time I was doing my bench impressions, all that sort of stuff. And then I went to go and fly it, and now it was so good. I've come back here. What we're gonna do, today's video, it's all about the Mobula 6. And let me tell you just straight off the bat, if you are even remotely interested in flying indoors around your house, just having some fun, there's never been a more stable, more just enjoyable flight experience running off a 1S pack than this Whoop right here. It is absolutely, and I don't say this lightly, unbelievable how much fun, stability is, how awesome this little drone is. So in this video, what we're going to do, we're going to put it on the bench, break it down, look at the text and the specs, and then we jump out to Grumpy Trevor's pit track, and you can see this thing is absolutely, I'll roll some footage while I'm talking about this thing is absolutely screaming around. We're going to have a blast. I'll give you my impressions, my actual flight characteristics, what it was like. We'll hand it over to GT, see what GT thinks as well, and overall just find out why this Whoop is just absolutely smashing it out of the park. So it is from Happy Model, has a bit of a backstory and also an overview. Let's put it on the scales. It is ridiculously light. It's coming in, let me bend the battery lead up there. It's coming in at under 20 grams, so 19.5 grams. If you put a battery on there, it's coming in at 27 grams, so you absolutely do not need to worry about crashing into people, about scaring people. You know, this thing, it's so not intrusive. You could take this thing, this is where I would imagine this would be a lot of fun. If you work in an office, it's your lunch break, imagine this little thing just zooming around, and it is so stable. I could fly it around in like a single car space at a parking lot. You could make a little course if you have that tiny little amount of space, because this thing is so stable, it's easy to fly, it is tiny, it fits through everything, and yeah, you can tell I am feeling very passionate about this drone because it is so much fun. Now, a bit of a backstory too. Happy Model, they were the original, I don't want to say they kicked off the toothpick craze, but they kicked off the craze that really made a brushless Whoop when they did their original Mobula 7. And when people first saw that, they thought it was sped up, people's jaws dropped. They were like, that thing is just amazing. And then people started putting those motors on carbon frames, and that's where the kind of toothpick idea started to come from. They're back at it again, but they've gone the other way. I love how Happy Model think. They have made a little Whoop, which there really isn't anything comparable to this on the market with what I keep saying. They've just made it as a 1S little thing. You put your battery in there, it is super light, you get good flight times, and just you're gonna have so much fun ripping this thing around. Now, quickly go through some of the components because it's a very, very simple little craft. You've got a little malleable frame right here, which means it shouldn't be snapping. Like I know some people on the Mobula 7, they broke some of their frames because it was a bit more rigid, a bit more fragile. This one seems pretty malleable, so you can bounce it off. I have been crashing this an awful lot. There's a race version, and also which has 25,000 kV, and then there's just a regular version which has 19,000 kV, and I don't really know which one I like better, whether it be 19,000 or 25,000, because it is already ridiculously fast on 19,000 kV. I'd say if you've got a bigger house, the 25,000 kV is going to be a bit better, but if you've just got like a normal size house, you are going to still absolutely kill it ripping around with the 19,000 version. We've got some tiny little tri-blade props on here underneath that. That's what I'm talking about. We've got our motors. They're 802s. We've got those two different kV versions, and then it is super simple. All we have is one board, which is a 5 amp ESC. It connects up. It's got Betaflight OSD, our flight controller in there, and also our VTX, which is pretty crazy. And then we have possibly the smallest camera I've ever seen as well in here right at the front. So it is absolutely ridiculous how much this thing has shrunk down, and you can tell that by the weight. It is so light, it's ridiculous. It comes with a whole bunch. It comes with some spare props and also some spare 300 milliamp hour batteries. And then we've just got our standard Whoop 2 connector on the back. So nothing too fancy right there, it just works. I'm more than happy with it. And the great thing is too, I've got so many of these batteries from my other ones. I know my original Mobula 7 and stuff, it's got the same connector. The batteries are all gonna work fine in here. And the crazy part too, we're getting some pretty ridiculous flight times. So I guess for considering how much performance this thing is pushing out, and it's brushless of course, which has a big, big plus over some of those other brushed ones out there. Now moving on, let's talk about the design of the thing, and I'm gonna say I love it because look, it's not doing too much in terms of the canopy style and the ducted frames, all that sort of stuff, but the way that they've put the components in here with having one board and making it so light, they've obviously had a goal in mind to make a drone under 20 grams, and it shows. The flight performance of this thing absolutely is just I don't know. You're just going to have to wait till you see more of this footage because it is ridiculous. The quality of the thing, I've been loving it flying around. Happy Model's been in the biz for a fair while. They have definitely been making some really, really cool gear. So I'm going to say, for me, the quality is probably about an 8 out of 10. The pros and the cons. Let's get some of the cons out of the way first. It's not really going to be well suited to outdoors because it is so light that it's going to get pushed around by the wind, so it's going to be affected by the wind, and you're not going to be getting any HD footage or anything like this. And the other part is the range. I don't really like the range too much with the current receiver in here. You're not going to be getting too far, but I didn't find any problem with them. I sort of flying inside my house, but I guess if you were trying to doing some range testing or anything like this, trying to fly this a long distance, I wouldn't really appreciate it because it keeps giving me like telemetry warnings and stuff like that when I'm flying around. So you notice a weird beeping noise that I get, and that's because the internal receivers on pretty much all of these boards that come out, no matter which one you get with an inbuilt receiver, they just kind of suck, so they're not the greatest. But in saying that, I would say for 99% of people and their house, unless you live in a huge mansion, you're not really going to have too much to worry about. I've never had a fail safe, I've never had it drop out of the sky. I just do get some low telemetry warnings, so that's something to take note of. Now, let's move on and talk about the pros of the thing, and this is where it is very, very exciting. Number one, the flight performance. It is ridiculously fast. You have handling like you want to believe, and probably my favorite part is the stability. When you are on the sticks, if you just leave it on that angle, you let go, it is just going to sit there. It's not going to wobble. You don't have to fight this thing. The control you have with this, and I'm just an average pilot, you can weave through the smallest gaps in and out around. It does exactly what you want. You can feel like you are one with the drone. If you can think of a race course, you can fly it, because with this thing, it's so small, it is easy to pilot, it feels like it's on rails. And I don't know, if you are looking to do some FPV indoors, look no further, because this thing is gonna blow your mind. I like the weight of it. It's not gonna cause any damage if it bumps into things. You know, as long as you keep it away from your wife's hair or your long-haired dog, you're gonna be more than happy flying this thing around. You could bounce it into your TV. I think I even do bounce it into my TV. You can bounce it off paintings, the fridge, whatever. This thing is not gonna put a dent in anything. It is so light. I've already got a ton of spare batteries. The batteries you get with it are gonna be super cheap because they're just 1S. The flight time, I think, is more than adequate. You get some spare props. Yeah, and the camera is surprisingly good for something so light. So I don't know, for me, there is just so many pros about this. So if you're thinking about flying around indoors and you want to get a Whoop, this is the one to get. So I almost swore there, but just go get one. Do yourself a favor, go pick up one of these. Now what we should do, that's it on the bench. That's the pros and the cons. Let's go out to the field. You will see this thing flying around. We'll show you some DVR. We'll see what GT, the grumpy man, thinks, and you'll find out why Mobula, why Happy Model really is the king at making these tiny little crafts. So let's do it. Go have some fun in 3, 2, 1. What am I doing, Trevor? Radio out here, we're not in the field. Something special, because check it out, we're about to fly this thing around, but we have the national treasure, GT himself. Grumpy Trevor is here in this video. Super stoked to have him back on the channel. We're going to fly around, show you the Mob 6, and it's going to be interesting because you've got your underground pit track. You've been flying around the Mob 7 for the longest time. Now we're back at it with the 2019 revision, almost 2020, depending on when this comes out. Yeah, so we'll show you some DVR, see what it's like, and of course, interview the grumpy bugger and find out what he thinks about it. Is this as good as everyone is making it out to be? So let's do it. Roll some DVR and have some fun in 3, 2, 1, boop. Radio, here we go. We're just going to jump straight into it. First things first, one thing I don't like, I wish they'd turn off that silly crosshair in the middle of the OSD. Luckily, that's a very easy option to do in Betaflight, but let's jump in, look at Trevor's pit track, and just look at this thing cruising around. We all know this thing is fast, but probably the amazing part, the maneuverability and the stability of this drone. I mean, we are talking through, some of these gates are about a foot wide. Some of those tunnels are extremely tricky to try to get through, and this thing absolutely handles it with ease, and it is crazy for such a little craft, how much speed it has, how much stability it has, and just my favorite bit, just how easy it is to fly. It does exactly what you want it to do. There's no oscillations. The camera looks good. We're about to fly it around outside, or not outside, I say we're about to fly it out in the office area part around Trevor, and you're just going to see you can take this thing anywhere. I love the little ducks. You can bounce off things. I mean, if it does crash, you've got nothing to worry about. And I'm going to say, if you're looking to pick something up where you want to do focusing on indoor flying, this is the best option currently in the entire market of FPV for one of these little things. I mean, look at this. Look how messy this is, and you can just make the racetrack out of anything. This is just cruising around, finding spots. Nothing is planned here. I'm just finding little gaps and shooting through them, and man, it is so fun. So, I don't know. I'm a huge fan of this thing. I know Trevor's going to be quite impressed when we hand it over to him, and you can see what he thinks as well. But overall, congratulations to Happy Model, the Mob 6. They are absolutely smashing it. It's a nice, well-priced drone that just makes any sort of flying you want to do indoors easy, and most of all, super fun. Rightio, you grumpy bugger. I'm going to put a link to Trevor's channel somewhere up here. He's doing some drone related videos. Go sub to that. But GT, we're back at it. So this is the Mobula 6, or the Mob 6 for short. What do you think? First impressions. What do you notice? What do you like? What do you not like? All that sort of stuff. And you've been flying around the Mobula 7 for, about a year. It's been taking a lot of abuse.
Look at the difference. Yeah, I've destroyed this thing and it still flies. Like, I've had to rebuild it a couple of times, and I love the Mobula 7 then, and this is called a Mobula what?
Mobula 6.
6.
The Mob 6, so the smaller version.
Oh, okay, 6, yeah, right. I can get the... Yeah, it's tiny, isn't it?
It's 20 grams as well.
20 grams. Boys from Mobula have done a good job again. It's tiny. Jeez, look at the size of the bloody flight control.
And you notice too, one thing, it's only got one stack in there, so if you look at the Mob 7, so it's got a separate kind of part for the camera and the VTX. That just has a little camera, and then the rest is all spitting out off this one.
Wow, it's tiny, eh? It is small.
And there's an outdoor version. Well, not an outdoor version. There's a like a crazy 25,000 kV version. You're going to be flying the 19,000 version.
Yeah, I think that might be a bit quick for the pit.
Yep, I think you might be right.
Well, let's
there.
whack a battery on it and see how it goes. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it?
Let's do it.
Hey, how much is this thing?
It's about $100, $90. Let's do it.
Here we go. Oh, look how hairy those legs are. Look.
Get out of it.
Oh, we'll take it through the pit. Jeez,
yeah.
It is stable. Here we go.
So you're going to notice that noise is going to come up quite a lot. That's like a radio warning.
Oh, yeah.
That's just one negative about this. I was getting that all the time.
It's taken me a little bit getting used to this thing. It's different control what I'm used to, but it's pretty stable.
It almost makes you look like a smooth pilot, Trevor.
Whoops, missed it. Oh, I'll get it next time.
All right, let's see if you can get this. I will be impressed if... will you get out of it?
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, that's not the pit. What are we doing there? Whoop. There we go.
Alrighty, talk to me, Trevor. Bummer about... What do you think about that nice big crosshair in the middle of the,
the crosshair.
Normally I would be concerned with you flying around, but when it's that light and it's only 20 grams, it doesn't really scare me that much, which I guess is a bit of a plus. But on to you talking more about it.
Yeah, look, it's... I get the hang of it now. I'm starting to get the feel of the controller.
Yep. Flight characteristics?
Yeah. Oh, it's stable as all It's just a little thing. I tell you what, these Mobula guys do know their I just think you can get it much smaller than this. Oh, didn't miss it that time.
I'm not getting that. That's way too many spiders,
who
brother.
Put that ground there?
No. That constant beeping though, that's going to drive you a little bit insane. So you need to probably turn that off. That alarm in your radio. Doesn't seem to be affecting the flying, but what do you want me to do? Alright, hang on. I'll arm it. Did you ever think our hobby would get here? Like this?
Oh, look how this is bloody brilliant little thing. Yeah, I'm impressed. It is pretty stable.
I don't think there'd be too many other drones you could do that with, like that controllable.
No, not too many at all. This is bloody... Oh, you want to have some fun, guys. How can you go wrong with one of these things? $100, you can play with it all winter. You can fly it really slow, have a lot of fun around nooks and crannies like we just did. Right. Or you can fly it around the pit.
Radio Trev, so final impressions?
Look, I really would like one of these now. Damn you for showing me this. Look,
we lost one prop.
One prop, yeah.
Yep, let's do the negatives. One prop came off back. Oh, yeah. That was easy to put back on.
Well, we were trying in turtle mode, so that's fair enough.
Yep.
We found the prop. Look, it's had a few bangs and it's still together. Flies really well. Camera is good. It actually virtually sees in the dark. So value for money, it's way up there. Look, not quite a 10, but I give it a 9.5.
Too easy. All right, Trev. Nice. Thanks, mate. Rightio, so there it is. There's my review with a happy model Mobula 6, and what can I say? I just never thought a 1S would be this good, and this is probably going to be my choice for an indoor flyer because it's robust, it flies so well, and my favorite part, it is just so stable, carefree, and easy to fly. So it doesn't matter, you saw me flying around in Trevor's little office space, weaving in and out of the desk, going behind him, between his head and the monitor. You can just pilot this thing with so much control and ease, and I don't know what it is it the small size, is it just that it's on one, whatever it is absolutely working, the lightweight, you don't have to worry about it, you know, flying around your house, you're gonna have an absolute blast. So I don't know, I've got to say, hats off to the Happy Model guys. They really know what they're doing. They smashed it out of the park with the Mobula 7 about a year ago, 18 months ago. They are back at it again. Do yourself a favor, guys. If it is coming up, you are looking at any drone to fly around indoors, this just absolutely screams fun times, easy to fly. Just, I cannot recommend this one more highly. It is just ridiculous how much fun this thing can be. So anyway, what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. Also leave a comment because we're running a bit of a giveaway, so I'm gonna have one of these to send out to you people, so definitely check the official rules, all that sort of stuff. So I'd like to know, where do you want to fly this, what you think about it. Just let's have a conversation, because they're going to be reading this and it might even spur them on in the future to push this product and keep designing stuff like this. So hats off to the Happy Model guys. Subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying.